I wanted to do radio, and I was doing radio, like I did radio in college and stuff, and I thought I really wanted to get into radio, and I used to not realize that being a stand-up comedian was a job. Like, I honestly used to think that, like, all comics just had morning radio shows in other cities or, like, whatever. Like, I didn't know. So, yeah, I just kind of thought they were all connected. So I was like, well, if I want to be on the radio, I should do stand-up comedy. I didn't really know much about stand-up. But I tried it, and then I just pretty quickly fell in love with doing it. And that was 11 years ago. I was really bad. I was terrible when my first time on stage. I bombed royally. But I just thought that was a rush. I don't know what that. I didn't even know if it went good or bad. Like, I honestly didn't even know. And then, as I progressed, I realized, oh no, I bombed. But it was such a rush. I really like Bill Hicks' Flying Saucer Tour Volume 1, the one that, because first of all, it was recorded in my hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it's like over 2 hours, and he's just really, they're kind of like a weaker crowd, so he's just doing everything he can to win them over, and he eventually does, and it's a really fun special. Carlin, Complaints and Grievances, I like a lot, because that was just the first George Carlin record I ever really got into. And then, as far as like more recent stuff, I really like Judah Friedlander's album, or not album, excuse me, his Netflix special. It's called "America is the Greatest Country in the United States," and it's there's a lot of like improv in it. Like he does this riff where he's running for office, and anyway, you got to see it. It's a really really fun special, and then. I can't point to a specific special, but I really got into a lot of Janine Garofalo's stuff. Like I got into a lot of her stuff and really liked that. I really love The In-Betweeners on the BBC. That show just cracks me up big time. I also really really loved Frasier. Especially because like when I was a kid, Frasier was on, and like I said, I wanted to be on the radio. Frasier was a radio personality, so I really really got into Frasier a lot. And then I'm trying to think like more recent comedy sitcoms. I always appreciated Seinfeld, but I was never like quite the fan that some were. But I got bit by the Family Guy bug in college, like everybody else does. And then of course like The Simpsons. Can't not give a nod to The Simpsons, I feel like. Reno 911, I appreciated. Meatballs was one of my favorites. I loved Meatballs. Still do. It's still one of my favorite movies. Caddyshack. And what else are some really good comedy movies that I like a lot? I'm trying to think of something more recent to throw at you. And I'm drawing a blank right now because I'm like on the spot. But yeah, I guess I'll go with Friday. My favorite bit ever is Bill Hicks, the JFK bit that he does. That's such a brilliant comedy bit. It's just like hard hitting and controversial and political and hilarious all at once, and it's a great bit. Graham Elwood, of course. Yeah, no, this tour has been amazing, and for me, it's not like for me, I just love the idea of kind of like just touring on your own terms and kind of being able to do it how you want to do it. Like a while ago, I decided that a person whose career I really like is Doug Stanhope. Like, I love the way Doug Stanhope just kind of has his nucleus that he's built. And it works for him, and he can just call his own shots, play where he wants, when he wants, and other comics can do it too. He's not the only one, but I really feel like in some ways he was kind of like comedy's Black Flag, if you will, and so I always was really intrigued by that, and knew that I was trying to do my own version of that, and I feel like when we do stuff like this, we're getting closer to that goal. So. I would want Lenny Bruce to take a couple shots at me, just because it's Lenny Bruce. I would want Red Fox to just tear me to shreds. And Joan Rivers, I feel like you gotta. And then I'll pick a couple that are still with us as well. Although, man, dead's kind of fun. Like, that's sort of a trippy thing, like talking about dead comedians that you wouldn't mind roasting you. Because then it'd be flattering, because that would mean they know you, right? But I would like to be roasted by, let me see here, my buddy Mike Stanley, just because I'd be curious what he would say. He's a very, very brilliant comedian, too. And I guess my last pick, because I still got one more, and I want to make this a fun one. You know what? I'll just go with Carlin. I'd want to see what Carlin would say about me. I want to see what he'd say about millennials in general. Well, I mean, I do a lot of writing now. Like I write a lot for Jimmy over on the Jimmy Dore Show, and and I live in LA, so you're always kind of working on pilots and working on like different series or trying to find different opportunities. So, I mean, I love to write, so I would totally like to get into more writing opportunities. That's kind of more, if I can't be on stage doing stand up, writing's my other favorite thing. So yeah, I guess writing is the short answer. Hopefully, doing the same thing I'm doing now, just selling more tickets. I mean, the goal is when you come back to a market, you get twice as many as you had the first time you were there. So we had a nice crowd tonight. It was pretty full, but hopefully next time we can play an even bigger space, and people will tell their friends, come back out. So that's the drill, I guess. RonPlacone.com is my website. I'm on Twitter at RonPlacone, YouTube.com/RonPlacone, and yeah, you can find me on those sites, and RonPlacone.com is the wheelhouse for all that. I hope they have a good time. I hope they laughed. I hope they got something out of it. And when we do something like the Progressive Comedy Tour, I hope they feel a little less alone. Hey guys, I'm Ron Placone. Please check out my interview on acutiepie.com.